Hello learners, MIS 021 Mechanical and Electrical Safety Management, video number 2, Risk Factor Associated with Manual Material Handling Activities, presented by myself, Dr. N. Venkateswarlu, Professor, Mechanical Engineering, School of Engineering and Technology, IGNOU, New Delhi. Objectives: after studying this unit or after listening to this video, you will be able to explain risk factors associated in material handling, able to know controlling of manual material handling problems, able to discuss safety considerations in manual material handling, and describe safety tips for manual material handling equipment. So during the manual material handling or machine material handling, there are various risk factors. So that risk factors we are going to learn in this video. The risk factors associated with manual material handling equipments. The associated risk factors with the activities of manual material handling may increase the likelihood of worker getting injury. These factors may also make manual handling of loads hazardous and enhances the risk of musculoskeletal injury. The factors that contribute to the manual handling injuries are grouped into 5 categories. They are as follows: the load factor, the task factor, the work environment, the organizational and psychological factors, individual and lifestyle factors. Risk factor 1. The load. In manual material handling, the load is the primary risk factor, as carrying huge and bulky loads is very difficult for the worker. It may slip from the hands of the worker and may cause injury and also damage the material. It may also make an unstable movement which may cause damage to other workers. Also, carrying the loads with the sharp edges and which is hot or toxic may also cause the injury to the workers. So the load is very important. The load factor is very important in manual material handling equipment. Material handling. So the following points are to be noted while considering load as a risk factor. So when the load is also we are considering as a risk factor, there we have to follow these to avoid those risk factor. So we have to follow these things. Do not carry huge or bulky loads. Avoid loads which are difficult to grasp. Don't carry the loads which makes an unstable movement. Avoid the load which causes harm, example sharp, hot objects. Avoid the loads which are too large for the handler to see over or around. Then risk factor 2, the task. Handling a material and moving it from one place to another is a task or an activity. Most of the workers working in an industry may make mistakes while performing the task. They try to carry the load holding near to the body, and some may make awkward postures. Some others may carry the load for long distances, which is not preferable as far as safety is concerned. The following points are to be noted while considering the factor. Always hold the loads away from the body. Hold the load with proper protection and tools. Do not make awkward and static postures. For example, working with hands above shoulder level. Don't apply high forces, example lifting, carrying, pulling, pushing and using tools. Don't carry the load for long distances. In case of more persons are engaged, the proper selection and posture of people is required for balanced loading on each person. what is the risk factor 3? That is the work environment. The ambience of the working area is also an important factor when safety is considered. The primary factor is the space. If the space of the working area is limited, then the chance of getting struck by the load are more, and it also makes the movement inconvenient. The neatness of the floor and the lighting conditions are also vital to avoid the accidents or injuries. If the substances like oil and grease are thrown on the floor, then the workers may slip and injuries themselves. So the floor of the working area should be kept neat. So in the industries, all machineries having oil and grease will be used. So the floor should be kept neat and clean always. So to avoid the risk factors. The following points are to be noted while considering this factor. Avoid cold or excessive heat. Always make sure that the space for the movement is not limited and allow for free movement. Avoid vibration and its intensity. Perform the activity on the platform or the floor which is neat and non-slippery. Don't perform the activity in poor lighting conditions. Make the workplace non-noisy. Prevent the workplace from gusts of wind and other strong air movements. Risk factor 4. Organizational and psychological factors. The organizational and psychological factors are also important for safety. The management and co-employees' behavior may also impact safe working. Employees may lose their concentration while working due to improper behavior of management. This may make the worker dissatisfied and enhance the chances of error, which is dangerous. The management must ensure proper supervision, tools and production through the use of kits, gloves, etc. to ensure safety, which gives a psychological boost up to the employees. The following points are to be noted while considering this factor. Have a high level of control over the works to be performed. Ensure job satisfaction. Try to avoid repetitive works. Maintain friendly relations with colleagues and managers. Don't perform the work continuously for a long time. Risk factor 5. Individual and lifestyle factors. The above said factors are majorly related to the organization and its system, but this factor is no way related to the organization. Every employee has his own background in terms of health, finance, family habits, etc. These may also have a significant impact on the safety. The following points are to be noted while considering this factor. Maintain good health, avoid smoking, be trained before you handle the job, enhance your physical capabilities, handle the works as per your age, stay free of agony as much as possible. Controlling manual material handling problems. Minimize the weight and size of packing. Generally, cement is available in 50 kg bag. If this could be reduced to a smaller one, weightage 25 kgs, then it can be handled and lifted more easily than the 50 kg bag. B. Reduce multiple handling. Minimize the number of times an object or a good is handled. If possible, try to see that the stock is displayed immediately after the delivery. Maintain correct height at work. Always use sturdy, stable and step tools to make access goods which are kept at heights. Minimize push-pull forces. Workers should limit the number of shopping trolleys to be collected at one time by employees. Training and education. Training guidelines and supervision should be given to the young and newly joined workers to prevent manual handling injuries. Workers should be trained and educated in the following: manual handling hazards, safe methods of manual handling, procedures for safe working, using manual handling aids, right to ask for help. So in these areas, the workers who newly joined in the industry can be given training on these topics. Safe working procedures. Employees have to draft the procedure for safe working by taking help and feedback of the experienced staff in order to make care of experienced and newly joined workers. Keep informing. If an employee is new to his job, he has the responsibility to keep informing to his higher authorities if they feel that the job is hectic, difficult and unsafe or causing too much strain. Ways to reduce the risk. The following are the ways of reducing risk at work. Lighten loads, break loads into smaller quantities, reduce bending, twisting, reaching movement and heights, prevent muscular strain and fatigue. This includes warming up before working, allocating time for rest breaks and allocating time to gradually get used to a new job, use of proper tools and aids, proper layout of release point, delivery point and storage and movement path. Methods to prevent back injury in manual material handling. The implementation of the following methods can be: keep back injuries at bay, always prefer diagonal foot position, keep the load close to you as possible. It is easy to move the load which are at waist height. Stacking pallets to raises the height of the load is an ergonomic solution. Use scissor lift which raises the load mechanically to a comfortable lifting level. Avoid repetitive lifting loads from the floor. When standing up with a load, hold the load close to your body. One can take the additional support of knee when lifting a load with handle. Also use diagonal foot position. One should try to keep the loads as close to the counter of gravity as possible. In case of longer materials, one should carry the loads on one's shoulder, which keeps one safe. For example, lifting the construction poles and long bars. It is easy to carry loads by both the hands having same weight. This will balance the load, but the weight of the load should be reasonable. While climbing up on ladder with a load, always maintain a 3-point contact. That is, both feet and a hand or 2 hands and a foot should be in contact with the ladder. Most manual material handling is done by pushing or pulling the load. Pushing is preferable than pulling, makes the back easy and light. When there is a need to push a load, one should use arms and legs. This will provide the leverage to start the push. It becomes easier to push if the handle is ideally above the waist. If the load is to be pulled, keep the handle of the cart at your side. This will minimize the twisting of lower back. One must not try to lift or push or pull the load with jerk or imbalanced hold. Safety consideration in manual material handling. Many jobs require frequent lifting, carrying, pushing, pulling, lowering and raising materials by hand. These job tasks are often referred to as a manual material handling. Staff who lift or perform other material handling tasks may be at risk of back or other injuries. These injuries may be prevented by redesigning the jobs and practicing safe handling techniques. The layout of the work area and the load handling geometry are two main considerations in manual material handling. Layout of work area. The layout of work area plays a prominent role in safety. The layout of work area is said to be perfect if it is arranged in such a way that it should prevent postures such as twisting, bending and overreaching. The height of the working platform should be at a waist height, or it can be adjustable for the preventing bending. The space around the work area should be sufficient for easy moving and turning around and to prevent twisting. Storing of materials directly on the floor that are to be lifted manually will cause back injury. For this reason, racks should be provided at feasible heights in the work area for storing of materials to prevent back injury. Then safety tips for manual material handling. Check the load before you lift it. Always check the load or the material, object or cartoon before lifting it. See the figure 2.4. This will help you to find the damages if any. After checking, push the load slightly by hand to see whether it moves easily or not. This will help you to know how heavy the load is. These are the checkpoints. Ensure that the load is packed correctly. Workers packing the boxes have to make sure that the weight of the load in the boxes should be balanced and properly tightened so that it will not move around. If the box consists of loose pieces, it makes the box unbalanced and can cause accidents. The fragile materials, example glass items or electronic goods, are to be packed with proper package material, example bubble sheet and packaging box, and marked handle with care. For example, you can see here in the proper way of packing. So proper marking is to be made on the packing box if the material is to be kept in particular orientation. The proper way of packing is as shown in the figure 2.5. So the fourth one, you can see that is the right tick, it is there, that is the correct method of packing. So proper way of packing. Ensure that the object is easy to reach. It is preferable to use step tools and ladders as shown in figure 2.6 when you are lifting the load above your height. In some cases, workers will arch back to lift the loads. This will result in the back injury. So one has to use step tool and ladders while lifting the loads above your height. Test the load. To ensure whether the load is too heavy or light, it is better to test the load before lifting it. If you feel that the load is too heavy, then you may ask the co-worker for their assistance as shown in the figure 2.7. So here you can see that test the load. Once you test the load, you can able to understand. So this is heavy, so one has to help me. So then one has to ask the other person to help to lift the loads. So plan your lift. Improper lifting may cause joint pains. So before lifting the load, the worker has to plan for the lift. Initially, the worker has to look into weight of the material being lifted, shape and size of the object, and the space where the load has to be moved. Also, workers should have an idea about the hazards, if any, that occur during the travel. Further, workers should discuss and analyze them to eliminate them. Team lifting. When two or more persons are involved in lifting a load, then it is said to be team lifting, is as shown in the figure 2.9. Choosing a team lifting technique is the better option if there is no appropriate solution for handling a material. It is said that the total team strength is lower than the sum of the individual worker strength. Team lifting is chosen if there is a heavy load, there is a irregularly bulky loads, worker feels uncomfortable in lifting the loads. So a team lifting, the team members should be of same height. If there is a difference in the height, then the taller people have to be at back side. It is advantageous to nominate a lift leader. The lift leader should plan and organize the lift, give simple and clear directions, and ensure that all members lift and lower the object at a time. Also, the lift leader must ensure that it is convenient for the team to lift the load. If it is not so, then the team members should lower the load carefully. Caution during the team lifting. Team lifting should be carried out with utmost caution, as there are more chances of getting injured due to falling, slipping, tripping and dropping. The team members should confer the plan of lift before they begin the process. They may communicate verbally to give the instructions which will helpful in initiating the action and also warning of hazards, if any. Planning ahead. Before you move the load from one place to another, it is better to plan the route. This allows you to analyze the route safety, limitations and hazards, etc. Also analyze the shape and weight of the load and ensure that the movement of load is smooth and continuous. The route. Plan the route in which you move the load. Unexpected interruptions while moving the load may result in property damage or injuries. Consideration for planning the route. Check whether there are any steps, closed doors or congestions passageways. Check if there are any steep corners or wet floors. Know the traffic situation. So these are one has to see when it is moving. Route one has to plan. On the drop off point, see that load will not block the traffic when it is placed. Check whether the place is sufficient or not to place the load. Ensure that the load will not create any hazards when it is placed. Lowering the object. Important considerations to remember while lowering an object is to avoid bending at the waist. Instead, bend at the knees. Also avoid twisting movement when lowering the load down. If you want to turn when lowering a load, don't twist your back. Rather, adjust your feet. Some more safety consideration. The following are a few more safety considerations to other two. Stacking. While stacking, ensure that base is neat and clean and is straight. Don't stack the load above the height limit and never crush it. Drums. Use a lift truck to move the drums even for a shorter distances. When moving empty drums individually, don't roll on the rim. Instead, roll on the side. Cylinders. Valves must be protected by a proper safety cap. Use a special hand truck to move individual cylinders and walk them only short distances to align them. Cylinders must be stored in designated areas and secured with safety chains or bars as shown in figure 2.11. So here the cylinder safety system. Mechanical aids. Often the best way to move loads is with a mechanical aid like a hand truck or a rolling cart. Choose the right aid for the job and inspect it before use. Place the heaviest items on the bottom with the weight concentrated between the wheels. Keep your hands away from the edge so they won't be scraped or crushed in the doorways. So learners, the conclusions. Learners, I hope you understand about different types of risk factors in material handling, controlling material handling problems, ways to reduce the risk, methods to prevent back injuries in manual material handling systems, etc. Thank you.